right now on Fox 35 News at 10.
A mother from South Carolina is charged with attempted murder tonight after sheriff's deputies say that she intentionally drove her children into the surf at Daytona Beach this week. Strangers rescued the 3 children ages 3, 9, and 10 as the mother is seen right there walking away from the vehicle. Well, tonight, Ebony Wilkerson is charged with 3 counts of attempted first-degree murder and 3 counts of child abuse.
It's a very disappointing thing because you're supposed to protect your children at all costs. You're not supposed to be trying to kill your children.
Wilkerson will be in court tomorrow to face a judge on these charges. We brought our attorneys in for a power panel on this, Lyle Mason and Stephen Kramer. And Lyle, we're talking about attempted first-degree murder, and for that, don't you have to prove premeditation and the simple fact of driving all the way across the beach? Is that enough to prove that someone it was premeditated murder?
I think in this situation, her actions, I think the charge is a well-founded charge, that the actions that were committed in this case, I think attempted first-degree murder is a substantiated charge. It's not necessarily overcharged as some of the other cases in our area have been of late. That being said, this is a case where the question is going to be, were her actions as a result of the fact that she was insane, or were these thought-out rational thoughts? We've
been talking about the kids in this thing, and everything comes back to the kids. Are these kids going to have to testify against their mom? Because they're the ones who are saying she was trying to kill us, Lyle.
Potentially, but also it may not necessarily be against their mom. It can also be for their mom, because while they were saying that she was trying to kill them, and they've absolutely confirmed that, they also said that the mom was acting different. Than the last few days, she was acting erratic, and she was acting very, very different, which might be part of her insanity defense.
The question here is, what was going on in this time frame? Clearly, this woman was suffering, and what we've got to look at as a society, as individuals, is how can we avoid these situations? We keep hearing these news stories about the school shootings, about mothers drowning children, about situations like these, and the question is, what can we do to intervene before we wind up in the situation in the first place?
Lyle, how different is it going to be that we now have video on this? It's one thing to tell a jury she tried to kill her kids. It's another thing to see a mother walking away from a minivan that is floating away in the ocean with your 3-year-old still strapped inside.
Well, clearly, this woman unequivocally tried to kill her children. Everyone watched the woman drive into the ocean. By the witnesses' accounts, she was trying to fight off rescuers. I think this is going to be very much a question of insanity. And the answer to the question is, what's going to happen in this case is ultimately going to be decided whether or not the Sheriff's Department, the prosecutors, and defense attorneys who get on board with this case have her evaluated to see whether or not she understood the nature of her actions and if she understood that those actions were wrong. And I think it's going to take a little bit of time, but shortly we're going to know where this case is headed.
Stephen, lastly, if they reach for first-degree attempted murder, are they locked into that, or can a jury come back and say, we don't think it was first-degree, but we're going to give you this lesser charge?
You know, that's a really good question. Here, I don't even think it's a matter of what they wind up charging at trial. They've still got the option to make decisions before they even get to a trial.
Okay.
They may decide that they want to reduce the charges, charge her with a lesser charge, that they may want to just pursue some type of intervention that's mental health. There's a lot of options here, and we're just going to have to see what the state attorney decides to do before trial and what the evidence reveals in anticipation of that trial.
Lyle Mason, Steve Kramer, gentlemen, thank you so much.
Good being here.
Thank you.